My name is Sara A, and I am the author of A Fallen Hero. I'd like to take a few minutes and talk about the design behind the novel. When I look at a book, it's a form of art, and I didn't want to be responsible only for the story in the pages. I've been an artist ever since I was old enough to hold a pencil, and the idea of sending out my manuscript and letting somebody else design the book, that felt like starting a piece of art and then letting another artist finish it and then own the rights to it. I had a vision for what I wanted my book to look like, and by publishing independently, I had the freedom to make that vision a reality. Everything you see when you hold a copy of this book is my own design and creation, from the cover to the spine, the synopsis, the artwork, the fonts that were selected, the margins, all of it. This is my design and my art that I'm able to present to the world. So now I'm presenting it to you, and I'd like to explain why I made the choices that I did and how those turned into this book, A Fallen Hero, Book 1 of the War of the Realms series. Let's start with looking at the cover design. A Fallen Hero is considered a science fantasy, so it's a blending of science fiction and fantasy. A lot of them feature absolutely gorgeous renditions of the characters, usually in some kind of big battle scene with these exotic landscapes, but you put all of those together on a shelf, and do any of them really jump out at you when you're walking into a bookstore? I wanted bold white text on a very dark background. I wanted a book that when you put in the middle of all those other fantasy books, that title is going to pop out at you from across the room. This is actually not Cato, my protagonist, on the front cover. Cato, if you pay really close attention in the book, has a green left eye. Now I've already got it planned which character is going to be on the cover of which book. Since this is going to be a 6-book series plus a prequel, that will allow me to cover all of the major alpha characters. As far as the font goes, I actually stumbled upon this one by accident. At some point in my college career, I downloaded a demo font, and it just fit so perfectly with the book that I incorporated it into the design, into promotional material, and then when it came time to publish, I had an issue with the font being able to upload, and I eventually realized that it was a demo font, so I had to reach out to the font developer, and I did purchase the rights to it. So this is called Black Asylum, and it is now the token font of A Fallen Hero. But it's got kind of that eerie, survival, post-apocalyptic look to it, and that's what I wanted to emanate. And it seems like a long title, but the Chronicles of Avilésor, War of the Realms, Book 1. That I wanted to be sort of a daintier font, much thinner, something that's not going to detract from the title. And then when the book is actually tucked into a shelf with other books, I wanted still that same bold white font to jump off of that black background and still have all the necessary details and everything, but that eye again, I really love that eye. I wanted it to pop. That's going to be a feature that you'll see again in the next book, only a different color. And then the back, I kind of broke the rules on the back. I could grab just about any book in my bookshelf, and you look at the back, and it's just reviews about how great this book is and how you should read this book because it's awesome. And that's great, but to me that seems like unwanted advertisements. I don't want to tell you how great this book is. I want to give you the synopsis very clearly. Here it is, you don't have to hunt for it, and then let you decide if this is a book that you want to read. I did consider putting one or two very small review blurbs on it, but it was so clean, it was so carefully designed that I really didn't want to muddy it up with those. So what I did instead is I put the reviews right here on the inside. So if anybody wants to know how fantastic this book is and how you should read it, here you go. It is the first page you turn, you will be able to see those reviews and get some professional opinions about it. It's right there by the copyright page. My book does not have all those reviews on the back like the normal, traditionally published books, but I think it's cleaner. I certainly hate having to hunt for any kind of synopsis. Or, I mean, honestly, I don't even read the review blurbs, right? Okay, New York Times book review, eccentric and absorbing. That tells me nothing about the book. So like I said, I am an artist, and I wanted to incorporate some art, not just designing the symbol of the Ammonites here, but also this little guy appears twice in the story, and I wanted to create him. So that way it would give a little bit more pizzazz to my dedication page and just be an extra little element in there. So here is the skull butterfly from the book, but he kind of leads the way into the next title page, and then you jump right into the prologue. And again, we've got that big Ammonite symbol here, which is a nice segue into the book. It really kind of pulls you in right away. And here we go. So there's that black asylum font again. That's on all of the chapter titles. And you'll see in the book too, there are point of view breaks. So those are cleanly broken here. Now this is something else that I hid in the book, and it's in both the print and the hardcover, but not the ebook, unfortunately, is when you get to the last page, the story will continue. There is a picture of a crow here. And that, of course, goes back to the book itself. There's a rhyme about counting ravens, although the book is set in the Midwest, so I was true to my setting and I used crows instead of ravens, since ravens, unfortunately, are not native here in Indiana. In book 2, you will see a second crow join that one. In book 3, there's another, and so on. So that's kind of a fun little extra detail that is not really noticeable unless you're really looking for it. A huge thanks to my photographer, Bob Salick. He did this gorgeous picture here by the iconic Michigan City Lighthouse. Now in the book, I did have characters who communicated through writing. So they didn't speak, they were writing out their responses, and that I wanted to make special and not just put in bold or italics. Although I did have to do that in the ebook, I had definitely a lot more freedom in the print book to really play with the formatting. Okay, so here we go, chapter 35. So there you can get a look at how that stands out from the regular text. But that added a unique element as well, being able to actually see the handwriting. I was able to choose between a matte finish and a glossy finish, and I'm really happy with the matte finish. I've had multiple people say that this book just has a really good feel to it when you're holding it. And that's a finish that Ingram Spark, who is the one printing and distributing the books, that's a finish that they do. And then the paper too. It's a nice thick paper. You know, it's not super thin. It's a cream color. It's not that really bright, obnoxious white that hurts your eyes if you're staring at it too long. But that's the design behind the book. I had 3 goals in mind. Keep it simple, clean, and creative. I wanted to produce a book that looked as professional as a traditionally published one. And yet, I consciously rejected some of the industry standards in favor of staying true to the 3 points of my design. I'm really excited to show you the design of book 2, but no sneak peeks yet.